He sued his wife. Do you remember that guy, the Asian guy who sued
Yeah, he sued his wife because their kids were ugly. Because she had so much plastic surgery.
Yes.
So this woman had so much plastic surgery that when the kids came out ugly, he was like,
Here we go. Our good friend Jim.
Our good James Sexton.
I hope
Here we
you're
go.
watching, Jim.
Hi,
Here
James.
you go.
The most shocking prenup I've ever seen, which was enforceable, had a provision that said that for every 10 pounds the wife gained in the marriage, she would lose $10,000 a month in alimony. He was very concerned that she was going to become less attractive and he was going to become more wealthy. So his solution to this was in the prenuptial agreement. He wanted a clause that said if they divorced, she was going to get like $70,000 a month for alimony. But for every 10 pounds she gained from the date of marriage, she would forfeit $10,000 a month worth of alimony.
Wow.
And it was designed to sort of create an incentive that she would remain thin. And that was enforceable, meaning they tried to challenge and set aside that provision. And the court said, this is a disgusting provision. I don't know why you married this person, but it's enforceable. It's a contract. You signed it, and you had a right to sign it, and you agreed to these rules, and they may be ridiculous rules, but you agreed to them, and you have a right to do that. I think it's a kind of love. I think it's a form of love. Is it a form of love I'd be interested in? No, I think it's very shallow in some ways. There's something very honest about it. I mean, you can't argue with the fact that there's something very upfront about it. He was making very clear and putting in writing, here's the value you bring to this relationship. I consider your physical appearance vitally important to this relationship. And by the way, don't skip the other side of that equation. She was going to get $70,000 a month. That's a very impressive number. So I think she also understood there was a value to be attached to him as well. Is it something I would be interested in on either side of that equation? No. But do I have a right to say to someone that's not love? I don't think I have a right to say that to someone. I think that if this is an economy the two of you have agreed on, you know, as a lawyer, see, my job as a lawyer is not to look, like, I don't look at it that way. I look at the engineering of it. So, like, if I'm representing her in that transaction, all I could think is, okay, so we're going to want her baseline weight to be as high as possible. So I'm going to want her to have pennies in her pockets at the day we sign the prenup, because you'd have to establish a baseline, right? Because if you say gaining 10 pounds, you'd have to establish a baseline weight on the date of the marriage. So if I'm her, I want that to be as high as possible. So I'm going to be putting pennies in my pockets and eating as many cheeseburgers as I can before the weigh-in. Now, we're getting divorced. I'm going to be like a wrestler. I'm going to be in the sauna. I'm going to be sweating as much as I can. I'm going to take diuretics. I'm going to eat nothing but like grilled vegetables for a week or two, you know? I'm going to take off every ounce of clothing I can because I want to minimize my weight. This is why lawyers don't get invited to parties, because that's how we analyze problems. Like, I didn't hear that and go, what is the nature of their coupling? I looked at it and I went, oh, I could play with that. I could, whoever I'm representing in that transaction, I could figure out a way to, you know, kind of make that work.
God. Listen, Jim Sexton is too important.
Jim is a weapon.
He must be protected.
Yes.
James Sexton must be protected at all costs. He must be protected. What do you, ladies, what do you guys think of that?
Would you sign that prenup?
Well, I do believe that it is extremely honest.
Romantic.
And reflecting back to what you were saying earlier, and men being very visual creatures, and they go for whatever is visually appealing. And when you are marrying somebody, you want to be sexually attracted to them. You want to find them attractive. And so
would you sign that prenup for $70,000?
But as a stipulation of your marriage contract.
I mean, I'm going to do that without that even being in question. Because I take a lot of pride in my health and my well-being for myself.
For sure.
Not necessarily for somebody else, but I just organically do that.
I love it. I would have one caveat. I would actually probably go with body fat percentage, just because, you know, I was dating a really famous fitness model before my most recent relationship, and she was really fit, so she could actually put on weight, but still her body fat percentage was
muscle weight's more
super low. Yeah. What do you think?
Do you remember that guy who he sued his wife? Do you remember that guy, the Asian guy who sued
he sued his wife because their kids were ugly, because she had so much plastic surgery.
Yes.
So this woman had so much plastic surgery that when the kids came out ugly, he was like, he sued her because the plastic surgery made her look prettier.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was so awesome.
Zoe, what do you think?
So he's like, I'm never getting married.
No, I don't speak on this topic. Fat people. I'm very fat phobic, and like I'm not trying to get canceled.
Hell yeah.
I hate fat people.
Oh my God.
But would you sign the prenup?
Would I sign it?
Are you
I
like-
have like a crazy good like metabolism, so like my wrists are like literally the size of like most guys' wieners, like, same girth.
That's about right. Just like she secretes Ozempic. You know what I'm saying? She pees Ozempic. That's what happens.
Do you think that men prefer a natural body or a BBL? BBL. BBL.
BBLs.
BBL.
BBL.
BBLs.
BBL.
BBL. BBL. BBL. Do you prefer a natural body or a BBL?
Natural. 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 Natural body all day.
Go ahead, Amanda.
They say that, but their actions don't back it up.
My friend Dre says I have a BBS because it's not quite the L.
I prefer boob jobs. I don't really care about BBLs, and I am not the least bit ashamed to say it. Boob jobs are great. I know that this is interesting. This goes back to the makeup thing also. It's like a lot of women have BBLs, and the men don't realize what they're looking at. That happens pretty frequently. Like, Amanda, I think that's what your point is.
Yeah.
The guys don't realize.
Well, they don't.
Yeah.
You think they don't?
I mean,
you think
so
they
many-
don't realize that they have a BBL?
100%.
Well, in some cases, they don't realize
Yes,
it.
I
I wonder if
Yeah.
I would be able to identify a BBL.
I
A
would
good
love
one
that.
or a small one, you wouldn't.
BBLs.
A really good doctor or a small BBL, you wouldn't. Boob jobs, I can usually tell because there's a cleavage gap. But with BBLs, it's a little harder. And then the other thing is when girls get filler, if it's not too much filler, you can't tell. You can't.
yeah,
But guys will, and then also same thing with makeup. If it's not too much makeup, but guys are sure that they can tell and say they like girls who are natural. That's why when we had the whole thing on with Mac and Murphy the other day where they were showing women who had makeup on, and guys were like they preferred those women because they looked natural, even though those women were wearing makeup. Because guys can't tell. And by the way, if guys could tell,
Shape-shifting.
hold on, if guys could tell, there'd be no
Shape-shifting.
BBLs and there'd be no makeup.
Right.
That's the whole point. And when guys are like, I prefer real boobs to fake boobs, then there'd be no fake boobs. And there'd be no spearmint rhino. But I went to the rhino, and you'll never guess what I saw at the rhino. Anybody want to guess? Fake boobs. I saw them everywhere. They're everywhere. And the girls are making $2,500 a night on a Tuesday because
girl.
guys
It's
like
me.
fake
Solid investment.
It's just me. And then I'm like, damn it, I knew I should have kept it.
My favorite comeback is like when guys like will say, "Oh, those girls are fake and plastic and everything like that." I'm like, you guys wouldn't know a real boob if you saw.
And
a
they
real
still
boob.
would bang. Don't
Because
even
you've been-
lie.
Because you've been raised
Meanwhile,
on
they're
for
double
so
tagged.
long. You've
Double
been
tagged.
raised on. So what are those?
Those are real.
Those are real boobs right there. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a woman
Yes,
with
they
real
are.
boobs on the show. I just
Yeah, let's
found
not let that
out.
happen again. What the fuck are you doing there? We had a streak going. We had a streak going for a while. We had a streak going for a while.
Casting up.
Until like I think Katie Moore was the first girl with the real boobs to come on the show
I
like
know,
a year ago.
I know.
Everyone thinks mine
I-
are real.
Huh?
Everyone thinks mine are real.
Yo, they are real as far as I know.
They're not real.
As far as I know, they're
But
real.
everyone thinks they're real. I think it's
How many
probably not
cc's?
them. Only 400. I had natural double Ds.
Oh, so you're just adding on.
No, I was
Enhancement.
actually working for Playboy. I was working for Playboy when I was like 20 or 19, something like that. And I was the first girl for like 2 years to work there without getting her titty out.
How long have you had them?
Too long.
No,
They need to
how
come
old
out.
were you when you got them?
Like 21, 22. Yeah. So like last year.
How old were you?
I'm joking. So like
27.
27? Oh, so
Yeah.
you waited a little bit.
I did.
Is that after you got out of the military?
After I got out of Kingston.
Out of
That's
Kingston?
hot. That is hot. Yummy.
Honestly, I look at it as like an investment in your future.
It really is.
Bro, you want a really great business opportunity? Somebody hit me up. I'll help you out. You lend money out for jobs with like an interest payment, like
rate,
50%
yes.
interest rate. I would sponsor that business in 2 seconds. Though you don't pay boobs, pay for themselves.
They really do, honey.
It's titty usury, is what it is.
I've said this
Titty
before.
privilege.
I said this before. If Barack Obama had put fake boobs in Obamacare, I would have voted for that motherfucker in 2 seconds.
Chop,
So
chop.
you think he has bigger balls? Who do you think's got a higher body count?
I seen
What's your
this.
body count, Jake?
Yeah, what's your body count? Jake?
Where's this kid's mother?
I've seen that one. I love it.
Jake, you think yours is higher?
I want to know who put him up to that.
Obviously, the main thing we need to discuss is whose body count is higher. Let's go, guys. Come on. I'm just kidding. What an interesting thing that like men use that as like a measuring stick, right?
Yeah.
It is pretty interesting. Like that he would come out there and do that, and neither of them would want to answer, even though most of the time those guys just do nothing but talk.
I think it's funny how like the kid knows that like their dicks are measured by like who has a higher body count. Like you want to know how Andrew that kid is the Generation Tate right there.
Generation Tate.
I love you, Andrew.
I can't even believe that fight's going to take place. To be quite honest,
it's going to be probably the highest card of all time.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
And you know the funny thing is that I know we wouldn't get here for boxing talk, but it's like. He is good enough. Do you remember Tyson at the end of his career, like the last 3 fights? It was bad. It was really bad. It was very sad to watch. Very similar. No. Way after biting the ear. Okay. The last 3 losses when he was just getting pummeled. Right? If you remember watching the end of Ali's career, it was very sad to watch. Sad is the only word I can use for it. I think Mike Tyson being out of the game and not taking those blows to the head for over 10 years and obviously getting on TRT. I wouldn't call it out. Obviously getting on TRT. He is doing an exhibition fight. They do not test for PEDs. Him and Jake are clearly like juicing up, and that's totally fine. I think Jake is almost good enough, and Mike is still good enough to where this might actually be a good fight. You understand what I'm saying? Mike Tyson has forgotten more about boxing than Jake Paul's ever learned, and so I'm just kind of interested. I'm actually interested to watch his fight. Right. I really am. Yeah. I just watched Jake knock out too many people to believe that this is just going to go nowhere. Anyway, sorry, I know that what
ladies,
what we're talking about.
Does body count matter for guys?
Nope.
For guys.
It depends what STDs they have.
Yeah, I was just going to say
no STDs. Does body count matter?
No, as long as they're not carrying anything.
Okay, so is there a number that if he told you that would be too high? There's no number?
No, you can say 2,000 is all good as long as you haven't got
is there a number that's too low?
It's experience.
Too low?
Yeah, test
about you.
Huh?
Yeah.
I like virgins and I like...
Okay.
Yay!
Is there a number that's too high for you?
No, I don't think so.
Is there a number that's too low?
I mean, I don't ask those questions.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, like it really doesn't matter, and don't ask me.
Okay.
They all lie anyway.
They all lie.
You led the league in runs batted in one year? What is going on here?
No.
You had an exploration year?
Like, Michael, what's your body count? You're not going to tell us. You're going to lie. You're going to lie.
Yeah, of course I'm going to lie. Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Men lie. So we never know that. We never know the truth to it anyways. So like,
yeah, but you can just tell. You can just tell by my lifestyle that it's incredibly low. Like, obviously.
Yeah,
like,
we're all virgins.
You can just tell. Yeah, exactly.
It was the sound. I love that for you.